Good afternoon, I'm Darren Maguire from Mahoney and I'm going to present the Northcote Aquatic and Recreation Centre. I'd like to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which this project is located. We recognise the continuing connection to land, waters and culture of the Wurundjeri people, and we pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. So the Northcote Aquatic and Recreation Centre is known as NARC, which I'll refer to it in the interest of time during this presentation. It's a reimagined replacement for an ageing facility which was past its useful use by date, as it were, and no longer meeting the requirements of the community. The site is in Northcote. The existing building, which you can see on the right there, sits on the western edge of McDonald Park and is bounded by Victoria Road and Clifton Street. The site layout we created, and you can see Victoria Road running on the right there, was an L shape with the grey pavilions with the pools running along Victoria Road and sheltering the outdoor pool, and the German Wellness Centre running along the existing car park, and a new outdoor pool in the centre. And the main entrance sits between the intersection of those two pavilions. So this layout protects and celebrates the beloved outdoor 50-metre pool, which was really where the community have come together for decades in this facility. The three key design challenges we identified: one is the repair and rejuvenation of the facility for the community, the climate emergency, and the connection of community and how the outcome can foster a thriving community. The existing facility, as I mentioned, was past its use by date. The 50-metre pool was leaking thousands of litres of water, and the interior was tired and dated. In response, our aim was to create a new local champion, to create something the community felt they could be proud of and wanted it to feel like home. So in being a good neighbour, our key move was really to acknowledge and respect this residential context through scale and materiality. So we used a handmade brick in terms of materiality, but also kept the scale of the building along Victoria Road as low as possible to reflect its context. The façade itself undulates along the western face and breaks up its visual scale. One of the other moves in terms of inclusivity was to provide a facility for all people of all abilities, and this has represented these three green zones of change facilities which actually cater for all ages, all abilities. They're fully inclusive and they've got options for males, females, gender neutral, families, groups, and include dedicated, accessible and changing places suites. This is a key part of the brief from Darebin Council. Upon entering the main facility for the change area, you are confronted, as it were, with a cluster of mixed mode, beach style box changer cubicles, which are private and fully accessible. These lead to a series of corridors which take you intuitively to the adjacent pools, so it's creating a very welcoming, open and clean environment. We also incorporated these pre-rinse pod areas to really change the behaviour of the people using the facility. A lot of these facilities have people just walk straight into the pool, so we're trying to change more of a European behaviour where people wash before they bathe. It reduces the contaminants in the water and reduces the load of energy required to filter and heat the water. Another rejuvenation element was the incorporation of First Nations design narrative. We were very fortunate to be gifted by the Wurundjeri people in consultation with Green Shoe Consulting and G for Greenaway, the story of the sacred kingfisher. And the sacred kingfisher will only inhabit an environment once the environment is renewed and returned to balance. In this way, the kingfisher story acts as a powerful metaphor for the resilience of this building and the resilience of the Wurundjeri people and the ambition of the architecture. And we represented it here in a co-designed motif as part of our façade, spreading its wings and greeting those who enter the building. We also incorporated as part of the architecture a couloir surrounded by a circle of custom designed seating, and this is one of the Wurundjeri people performing the smoking ceremony before the building was open to the public. The climate emergency, this key part of the project's genesis, came from Darebin Council's world-leading declaration of a climate emergency in 2016. They were the first government body in the world, in fact, to do this. So in response to this challenge, we designed a building that responds to this and put sustainability on show. You can see the existing building on the left, the new NARC on the right. We reoriented the pavilions and the pools to make as much of the solar gain as we could, but also minimise the footprint, make it as compact as possible. The outdoor pool is sheltered and embraced by the built form, and the grass terrace is expanded, renewed as part of the redevelopment to provide more amenity. And this returns the building and the facility to the parkland of Macdonald Park and to the community. Passive design principles are also incorporated into the façade. The western face, sorry, I've lost my little place here, incorporated into the façade. And this movement of the façade invites the landscape to also follow that rhythm along the western face. Along the eastern face against the pools, these undulations create spaces for amenity and laying down before entering the pools. The façade itself was optimised with our engineering partners, Arup, in terms of glare and daylight, minimising glare, maximising daylight, which was enhanced with a series of skylights as well. We're up for the Sustainability Award as well, so there's a long list of amazing sustainability initiatives in this project. 6-star Green Star is probably the highlight, very difficult to achieve with a building of this typology, but I can come back to any of these if you'd like. But one of the defining characteristics of this project, which you will have seen, is the use of the timber structure and material. And we've really used it here to emphasise sustainability through this wonderful material. The main pool hall showcases mass timber, which is used mostly for the beams, but also for the ceiling panels. The timber performs very well in an aquatic environment, and it imbues the spaces with natural warmth. The clerestory windows emphasise the lightness of the timber, but also create an impression that the ceiling is floating. The final challenge is really the reimagining of the facility that no longer met the requirements of the community. The post-pandemic public-facing offering, the local centre has become of great importance to the community. There are generous allowances and corridors and stairs that lead to the gym for the moments of engagement with patrons. We put sport on display, creating glazed moments, see in and out, view lines through the building, through a glazed link that forms the connection between the wet and the dry pavilions. There are also views out into the parkland and the pools. Generous canopy identifies the main entrance, but it also acts as a community collector in providing a staging area for events while welcoming people into the foyer, into the cafe, which is the nexus of the complex. Provides pathways at NARC for people, promote strong health and wellbeing outcomes across the City of Darebin. The very large mix of diverse demographics. It creates places for education, play, fitness, rehabilitation, restoration and recovery. 3,000 members were anticipated to be part of the project, but there are now 8,000 members as of today.